Hello and welcome again. We are doing the series on how to improve the lexical resources. And in this final part of that series, we are going to see how to talk about the process diagram when we have to talk about different stages of the actions, right? So let's try to look at the expressions that we can use here. So generally, there are many stages that you have to come across. So you have to decide in the beginning that how many stages you are going to include in the first body paragraph, how many you will use in the second body paragraph, right? And accordingly, you will have to make the selection of the expressions that can be used. So in stage one, you can say you can use something like first of all, to begin with the process starts when initially. So these are the first thing. Then when you use first, you can say in the second stage, secondly, thirdly, after this, following that, next, later on, and then subsequently after being plus B3. Means, for example, not exactly being, be is the form of verb. Like you can say, after doing the selection of the right kind of components, these are sent to the supply department. So after plus VING is actually the form. After being can be also used as a passive word, like after being assembled entirely, it is handed over to the what do we say, quality sections for the inspection part. And in the final part, you can write as a consequence. Finally, in the end, the final stage, the process ends with in the end, right? So this can be used. Eventually, perhaps can be written not so suitable, but you can write it in the end. Again, there's something that self is given here. During the stage description, if you talk about two actions at the same time, you can say in the meantime, right? So for example, you're talking about the first stage, like let's talk the example of a dam. In the first stage, the water is stopped by creating a barrier in the dam. um, in the meantime, a hole is created in the dam so that, if required, the water can be passed through this hole. Right? Then we can use it. So that kind of. While again, the assessment to action, while the packing part is being done by the department, the transportations are arranged and called to the warehouse. Sorry. Meanwhile is used the same way. Simultaneously means at the same time. When and while both are used in the same way. So perhaps you'll get an idea because I have discussed it many times earlier as well. Right. One more point is important, that both process and comparison language can be used in a diagram, because many times the question talks about some kind of process, that means stages, and also it is composed of something. So I'm going to show you one example where both of them can be used together. Right, so that the process will describe in blue color and the composition will be in green color. Let's have a look. Sorry. So if we look at the details of cement production, perhaps it is related to the cement production where there are many stages and then there are some elements which is used for that. Initially, so this is the process, limestone and clay are crushed together to form a powder, right? Next, so what he's saying next is that's a process. The powder is mixed by a mixture, after which it is passed through a rotating heater. After being heated, the same expression, it is then ground by a grinder. I hope you understand. It's crushed. Grinder is a machine, a device, equipment. Before being packed. So see the kind of language, like after being, before being, absolutely fantastic. Into bag and cement. Now let's talk about the composition. Focusing on the manufacturing process of concrete, this is made up of 4 components. Half of concrete is composed of gravel. A quarter consists of sand, and water constitutes a tenth. Perhaps it should be S actually. A quarter consists of, it should be S, right? Okay. And the remainder is formed of the earlier product produced cement. Okay, the remainder is formed. So formed, made up of, composed of, constitutes. So you can see this kind of word that can be used. This formula is combined together using a horizontally rotating concrete mixture. So there are different kind of expressions can be used here. Okay. So that's the end of different kind of vocabulary or expressions that can be used with different type of topic in IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. I hope you will go through it intensively and extensively to pick up those words and try to use them practically in your writing to get the full benefit, right? Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you very soon in my next video for when we talk about some other evaluation criteria, which will be grammar perhaps, right? So bye for now.